This is a KOIN 6 News breaking news alert.
And that breaking news at 4, authorities responding to reports of a plane emergency in Troutdale. I'm Jenny Hansen.
I'm Jeff Gianola in for Todd Unger. That call first came down about 40 minutes ago as a plane emergency in the river right off Northwest North Front Gate Road. Now the call is now listed as an aircraft in the river. We have a crew on the way right now to find out more. We'll bring you updates as soon as we learn anything new. Keep it right here on KOIN 6.
Well, TriMet is stepping up safety measures on its trains and buses, from making sure riders are paying their fares to keeping riders safe from threatening behavior from other riders. Okay,
Lisa Balick asking tough questions of TriMet security. She joins us right now. Lisa?
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people say, hey, I don't feel safe on TriMet. At the same time, TriMet says, look, the number of police calls for trying to get some help with a situation at TriMet has gone down. But again, it's passenger safety that's at risk. TriMet's still trying to come back from the pandemic, trying to get more people to ride TriMet. It's why they have now decided to hire more safety officers and really focus on code enforcement. In other words, making sure people follow the rules. Over 400 in their security department, but still less than 24 are armed officers. Drivers are trained in de-escalation, but they're not supposed to get physically involved if there's a situation on a bus or train. Instead, they're supposed to call dispatch, who then decides whether to call 911 or send an ambulance and send TriMet police. TriMet says it's going to have more targeted missions, more safety officers out on code enforcement. Riders encouraged to call 238-RIDE to reach the 24-hour security center. I asked TriMet, though, whether there would be security responding at the next stop if a passenger calls in about a situation.
The additional personnel that we've added is getting to the point where people should see a lot of security. And they have actually geolocation devices that are being set up, so the Security Operations Center will actually know where those security personnel are. That's helpful with is that we have so much security out there. If you're riding on a train or a bus, we should be able to get to that location and address that issue very fast.
Generally speaking, a driver pulls over if there's a situation on a bus. Now, TriMet says it's never going to be able to have every train and bus with security personnel on board, but it continues to expand its security operations. TriMet now focusing on trying to keep people off transit to avoid some of the problems by checking on code enforcement issues. One other thing, too, we heard of a report this afternoon of possibly somebody with a gun at a platform over in Northeast. We checked on that. Portland police tell us that there was somebody there with a BB gun, but not threatening anybody. Live in South Portland, Lisa Balick, KOIN 6 News.
Yeah, and it was just late March. A 51-year-old man randomly stabbed to death on a MAX train. So TriMet beefing up security. Lisa, thank you.
A new at 4, deputies are asking for tips after a Portland man was killed in Clackamas over the weekend. Investigators say they were called to an assault early Saturday morning at the Crown Court Apartments on Southeast 97th. The deputies found a man hurt and tried to save him, but he died at the scene. He has been identified as 30-year-old Jefferson Cates. His death has been ruled a homicide. If you have any information, you are asked to contact the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office.
An 18-year-old has now been arrested for a shooting and killing. It happened to a teenager in Salem. Police say they found 16-year-old shot near the corner of Skyline Road Southeast and Maplewood Drive just before 1 a.m. yesterday. Now, they're not releasing the name of the teenage victim. They say the 18-year-old David Anyan Urbano is now being arraigned this afternoon.
And over the weekend, Salem police found the 4th and final suspect involved in an animal abuse case. That person is a 16-year-old accused of pulling the trigger, killing a cat. That May 10th killing caught on camera by the cat's owners. Those suspects are between the ages of 15 and 17, and they face criminal charges in juvenile court. The teen suspect accused of killing the cat is facing a first-degree animal abuse charge.
Well, today, Portland becomes the last major city to roll out body-worn cameras for police officers. The video from the Portland Police Bureau shows officers in Central Precinct putting their cameras on early this morning. East and North precincts will undergo training next. Per policy, officers will notify people when they're being recorded. The body cameras were required by the Department of Justice in a 2014 settlement after Portland police officers were found to use excessive force.
Well, with summer now in full swing, we are following up on the Cooling Portland program and the efforts to get free AC units to those who need them.
And 2 weeks after announcing a partnership with 311 to help make it easier to qualify for residents on the wait list, we sent Joelle Jones to witness an installation. She joins us with the latest. Joelle?
Yes, that's right. Program directors told us they received more than 1,000 requests just in the 24 hours following their announced partnership with 311. Now, since then, we're told they've installed more than 430 AC units. And we spoke to some of those recipients today, as you're about to see. They say this program is a blessing. Now, this is paid for by the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Fund, or PCEF. The Cooling Portland program connects low-income residents with free portable cooling and heating units, prioritizing seniors and those with pre-existing medical conditions. It was launched in 2022 following the deadly heat dome of 2021, which claimed the lives of 72 people. We spoke with Lori Johnson, who received a unit today after she says she was forced to leave her Northeast apartment due to the extreme heat.
As you know, a few years back, we had a heat wave, and I ended up having to leave my home and rent a room somewhere because it had gotten so hot.
The city aims to install 15,000 cooling units to residents in need by 2027. 2 years in, the city says they've reached just under 60% of that goal, installing more than 8,850 units so far and more than 1,600 this year, of which 430 were installed within the last 12 days. Now, if you're going through those numbers with me, that works out to be about 35 AC units installed each day recently. For those who are interested in applying for the program, you can dial 311 or you can apply online. We have that form linked out for you at KOIN.com. We'll have more on this coming up at 5 and 6, but for now, live in downtown Portland, I'm Joelle Jones, KOIN 6 News.
Yeah, Joelle, because as we've seen, these can make a difference between life and death. Yeah, thank you.
Let's bring you up to date on the wildfire situation. There is a wildfire alert in Wasco County. The Long Bend fire has burned over 1,000 acres. Central Oregon fire officials say it's only 5% contained. Level 2 BSET alerts issued yesterday are still in place for home in and to the southwest of the town of Maupin.
And the Upper Applegate fire in Jackson County is now fully contained after burning 750 acres. A crew's mopping up parts of the fire, but level 2 BSET evacuation notices are still in effect in some areas.
Hope everyone had a great weekend. The weather was beautiful, like it is this afternoon, Josh.
That it is, but that's also kind of helping to fuel that increased fire potential. So we desperately need to see the cooler and wetter weather once again return. But I want to give you a little bit of a better picture of exactly where these fires are located. So again, that Long Bend fire just to the south of Maupin, and that's where we have seen about 1,024 acres burned, as it's only at about 5% containment, and there is a level 2 get set evacuation order in place. Further south into Jackson County, that's where the extinguished Upper Applegate fire is at 750 acres burned and still holding on to those level 2 evacuation levels for at least right now, as we do hold on to a higher than what we have seen fire danger potential, not only this afternoon, but again tomorrow, primarily out towards the southern sections of the state, as a fire weather warning remains in place all the way through 8 o'clock tomorrow. Now, those temperatures up and down the I-5 corridor already warming up into the mid-70s. We'll be tacking on a couple of extra degrees later this afternoon, but coming up in my extended forecast, we're going to be breaking down exactly when the cooler and wetter weather will return. Those details in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Josh. We want to get back now to that breaking news we told you about at the top of the show.
Yeah, that was a plane reported down in the Columbia River. Ariel Yakabazi, live on the scene right now. Ariel, what can you tell us?
Yeah, hey guys, so we are here on the river, and there's not much activity. You wouldn't think that there was a plane crash, but we just saw an emergency boat just go this way towards Lady Island. And again, lots of people are still out here enjoying the nice weather. We can't confirm if there were any individuals hurt, but officials with Gresham Fire and Rescue have been able to confirm that there was a plane crash, but we don't know the magnitude of that plane crash just yet. Again, very calm out here right now. We're going to be checking in with some of the beachgoers here to see if they heard or saw anything or if they saw any activity here this afternoon, and we'll be sure to get you that latest information. Again, we can't confirm if there are any injuries, anybody hurt, or anything of that matter, how many people were in the plane, how big that plane was, but we will be sure to bring you that latest information at the top of the next hour. Reporting live here this afternoon, Ariel Yakabazi, KOIN 6 News.
Yeah,
back to
all
you.
this happening within the hour. So Ariel on the scene there, she'll keep us updated. Ariel, thank you.
Just because the state of Washington protects an abortion right, it doesn't mean that we're immune from the impacts of the Dobbs decision.
Coming up, Northwest lawmakers and demonstrators speaking out as today marks 2 years since the Supreme Court overturned federal abortion rights.
Also, how an injured hiker was rescued in Oregon as it was too unsafe for a helicopter to respond.
And see Taylor Swift's big surprise to fans as she performs across the pond.
Okay, some breaking news right now. This is a fire at the east end of the Broadway Bridge, and you can see lots of black smoke, flames right next to I-5, and you see the southbound traffic right there at I-5 closest to the fire. So there's the Broadway Bridge, and that building that it's burning next to, I believe that's the
PPS?
Portland, PPS administration building, the Portland Public School Administration building. So we don't know what's caused this fire. We're monitoring, but lots of folks reporting the black smoke right now. So this is a live picture, a big fire burning, at least creating a lot of black smoke on the east end of the Broadway Bridge, right near the Portland Public School Administration building.
There are a lot of, and it was a little windy out there today too, so you can see that smoke is just blowing everywhere, but the flames are still pretty strong, and traffic through that area obviously slowing down as people look to see what's going on.
Now, so far, it's hard for us to see, but we don't know if fire crews have arrived there yet. And so we're monitoring that situation closely, but no idea what's caused this fire right now. But it's burning at the east end of the Broadway Bridge, right near the Portland Public School Administration building.
Yeah, and that black smoke just keeps coming. So we're going to keep monitoring this and checking in, and we'll give you any updates as soon as we get them and as soon as we know what that is that's on fire.
Yeah, keep it right here.
Well, meantime, near a different bridge today, demonstrators on Portland's Burnside Bridge joining people around the world for what they are calling a women's strike. On this 2-year anniversary of the Supreme Court decision that overturned Roe v. Wade, women were wearing red and meeting to demand equal rights and reproductive freedom.
I am a woman, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, and our rights are being systematically taken away. The Supreme Court, I didn't believe this would happen, but has actually stripped away our rights under Roe. States are making it impossible for women, especially women of color, to get the reproductive and health care that they need. None of that is acceptable.
Well, today's demonstrators calling for people to skip work or school or to only spend money at women-owned businesses.
And then in Washington state today, Senator Maria Cantwell joined health workers and abortion right advocates to discuss how the Dobbs decision is impacting the Northwest.
Yeah, they say Washington has seen an influx of patients from states who have limited or no access to reproductive health care since the Dobbs decision. Well, according to a University of Washington study that we reported last month, the state saw a 50% increase in out-of-state patients.
Our doctors and nurses and advocates who are here today are really heroes. I thank you for that. They have welcomed these patients from fleeing states with open arms and providing essential care. And the access to reproductive care shouldn't be based on where you live, and a doctor's ability to deliver that care should not be based on where they practice.
Senator Cantwell says she is working on getting support for multiple bills. That includes the Women's Health Protection Act, which would codify Roe v. Wade, and the Freedom to Travel for Health Care Act.
And for a look at how abortion rights advocates are protesting nationwide, Nicole Skanga reports from the U.S. Supreme Court.
Abortion rights advocates protested outside the Supreme Court to mark 2 years since the conservative majority overturned Roe v. Wade.
Why are you here today, June? I'm here because I'm tired of my rights being stripped away from me, and I am angry.
Anti-abortion rights demonstrators were also on hand, saying the Dobbs decision protects life. The justice's 6-3 ruling took away the federal right to an abortion, overturning nearly 50 years of precedents.
I want to thank the 6 Supreme Court justices.
On the campaign trail this weekend, former President Trump took credit for appointing 3 of those conservative justices.
We've gotten abortion out of the federal government and back to the states.
A new CBS News poll shows around 2/3 of Americans are concerned that pregnant women are more at risk in states where abortion is mostly illegal. Riley Foster is from Indiana, one of the 21 states that have enacted restrictive abortion laws in the wake of the Dobbs decision.
I feel alienated from my state, and I see it as a fight for women's independence and their autonomy.
Foster was on hand to hear Vice President Kamala Harris speak about reproductive rights in Maryland Monday.
Donald Trump thinks the government is in a better position to tell women what's in their best interest. But Joe Biden and I trust women.
The Biden campaign believes abortion rights will resonate with voters this November.
Good morning, Richmond!
And has organized dozens of events around the country to highlight the issue. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
And for continuing coverage of this 2-year anniversary and the impact on the nation, watch the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. That starts at 6:30 tonight right here on KOIN 6.
And new at 4, rescue crews carried an injured hiker for more than 2 miles over the weekend. Calls for help came Saturday from the Saddle Mountain Trail. Cannon Beach Fire says a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter responded but could not help because of a thick marine layer that covered the mountain. Well, after 5 hours, the hiker was safely carried back down and taken to a hospital.
Okay, back to our breaking news right now. Just moments ago, a big fire, lots of black smoke, broke out on the east end of the Broadway Bridge, right along I-5, the southbound lanes closest to that fire. In the last 3 minutes, we've noticed white smoke. It appears that they're getting this fire under control. Once again, this fire broke out about 10 minutes ago, east end of the Broadway Bridge, that building in the foreground, that salmon-colored building, the Portland Public School Administration building. So it's burning between that building and I-5. We don't know what's caused that fire, but as I mentioned, in the last 3 minutes, it appears they're getting that fire under control. We see lots of white smoke now, and Jenny, we no longer see the flames.
Yeah, that is good news because, Josh, I know you've been tracking the fire conditions. It's been dry lately and also a little windy out there from what I saw today.
It has, and of course, we don't really understand right now what this fire currently is, but nonetheless, something to be mindful of as those winds still remain on the gustier side. So all of that black smoke likely going to be traveling its way out towards the south and east as our winds are relatively on the calmer side, anywhere from about 10 to 15 miles per hour right now. So hopefully not spreading it any other locations along I-5. Of course, we were seeing some of that smoke turning white, indicating that fire crews are getting the upper hand on the conditions. You can see it right there, even from the Vancouver waterfront off in the distance. There's also downtown Portland. From the Hotel Indigo Kirkland Tower camera is bright blue, sunny, and dry melting conditions are found up in elevation over the Mount Hood Meadows area. This coming off the heels of a roller coaster ride as far as the temperatures have gone, riding out into the 60s back in the middle of the month, but over the past several days, peaking up into the summer-like conditions. The first day of summer was back on Thursday, June 20th, where we hit 91 degrees, 92 for the following day. and we are expecting to gradually warm things back up again as we approach Tuesday. So if you're trying to find some relief from the heat, our waterways still dangerously cold, so wear that life vest, as cold water shock is going to be the biggest cause for concern, and along with hypothermia. Again, another look at that fire as the white smoke continues, and our temperatures are going to be hovering in towards the mid-70s, at least for the next several hours. As we expect to climb back up to about 88 degrees on Tuesday, you'll notice the cooling trend Wednesday into Thursday before yet again the roller coaster ride just continues with these peaks and valleys over the next 7 days. So the weather whiplash is still going to be well underway. But as we approach 90 degrees tomorrow, if you do have to be spending extended amounts of time outside, stay hydrated, wear the light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, and take those frequent breaks indoors. As a trough of low pressure is tracking its way closer to the Pacific Northwest, that ridge of high pressure, the summer heat culprit, that's going to be tracking its way further off to the east as this cool pocket of air not only dropping our temperatures, but also increasing that rain potential as we work our way into the middle of the week and eventually into Thursday. Let's time it all out for you here with the Futurecast. Not a lot of action to talk about as those dry, sunny skies take us well into Tuesday, but then things start to change by the time we get into Wednesday. You'll notice this very weak front pushing its way onshore. You'll notice the increase in the cloud coverage and maybe an isolated raindrop or two as we work our way into Wednesday evening. And then Thursday, that's where we have the potential for just a little bit more of that moisture to arrive. And that's going to be filling up our rain gauges anywhere from a couple of 1/100ths of an inch to a 1/10 to maybe even a 1/4 of an inch found out along the coast. Tonight, calm, quiet, clear, mild temperatures falling back into the mid-50s. Crack open the window and let some fresh air in. Mother Nature's free AC as we prepare for 88 degrees for our expected high tomorrow. Again, another round of plentiful sunshine, so make sure you're lathering up with the sunscreen. But you'll notice that we have a little bit more action going on our 7-day forecast here, picking up on a shower or two throughout the day Wednesday, a better chance for it to be more widespread Thursday, dropping our temperatures to the low 70s, and then we dry things back out again for Friday, Saturday, maybe another round of moisture for Sunday as we start to dry things out once again, and by that point in time, we will be approaching the month of July.
I like what you say, nature's free AC.
I know, I think a lot of people like that.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Hey, Taylor Swift surprises fans over the weekend. Coming up, see Travis Kelce's Eras Tour debut.
And we're following the efforts of some fast food chains at lowering prices to attract customers back.
Also, it's used to treat diabetes. Well, now researchers think it can help with another major health issue while you sleep. Okay, so we're staying on top of some breaking news we're following in Portland right now. Look at this. We've been monitoring what appears to be a large fire burning east of the Broadway Bridge. It's right next to I-5, and it has traffic slowed down. It's being reported as a commercial fire on North Thompson Street, which apparently is a side street right next to the highway. We've seen that black smoke go to a lighter colored smoke, so we're thinking they're making progress on this.
Yeah, it appears they're making progress on it. I think they said there were 26 fire units on this fire right now, and you can't see them because they're below the tree line, but they've been battling this fire. And that building in the foreground, that salmon colored, that orange colored building, that's the Portland Public School Administration building. So that gives you an idea of where this fire is burning between that building and I-5, and there's some little side streets there, and one of them North Thompson. So this is reported as a commercial fire, but it appears they're getting it under control. Our crews are about to arrive on the scene there as well, so we'll be keeping you up to date on that.
And maybe avoid that area in the meantime, because traffic looks pretty slow.
It certainly has slowed down traffic on I-5, southbound traffic in particular. Hey, more medical concerns for the British royal family. The King's sister is in the hospital. Princess Anne is recovering from a concussion and minor injuries following an incident during the weekend. No word on what happened. The palace staff says the princess is expected to make a full recovery. This comes just months after both King Charles and Princess Kate announced they're both battling cancer.
A tough time for the royal family. Well, a drug used to treat type 2 diabetes may also help people with sleep apnea. Now, researchers at the University of California, San Diego say that drug led to a significant decrease in the number of breathing interruptions during sleep. Now, more testing is needed to examine the long-term impacts of taking the drug.
You know, this week, McDonald's is launching a new $5 meal deal as more restaurant chains try to get inflation-weary customers back into their stores. Kenny Choi digging deeper into the changes and the complaints.
Americans crave fast food, but with higher prices, more and more simply aren't loving it.
It's expensive when we have to feed the whole family.
How do you know that? Yeah, what makes you say that?
Because the prices go up like every year.
Nearly 2/3 of fast food customers say they felt sticker shock at the counter this year. The cost of a quick meal is outpacing inflation, with prices up nearly 5% from a year ago.
Such a big jump recently. Maybe we're splitting meals more often, or we are a little bit more aware.
To fight the inflation fatigue Americans are feeling, McDonald's, Burger King, and other chains are launching combo meal deals. Starbucks is also offering a discount pairings menu.
This is not a war against one another. It's really just a response to grocery to get some of those customers back, particularly the lower income.
Hi, welcome. Talk about
Fast food chains hope these bargains boost sales as companies try to offset their own higher food and labor costs. But customers may need to grab these deals before they're gone.
This $5 national meal, it's a temporary thing. It's just, I doubt it's going to last more than a month.
And according to a recent Lending Tree survey, 75% of people in the U.S. eat fast food at least once a week. So America is still hungry for a quick meal. Kenny Choi, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, a first-of-its-kind surgery hailed a success.
A young man gets a new kidney while he's awake. Elizabeth Din is here with that and other stories ahead at 5 o'clock.
First of all, the thought of any surgery when you're awake is pretty wild, and I'm a kidney transplant recipient. I was knocked out, okay with it, but this is still fascinating, you guys.
Sure.
So a little preview of this. Doctors are comparing this ordeal to a C-section without the baby, of course. So there's a spinal epidural, nerve block, and light sedation. Find out why researchers say this, though, is a game changer for some patients. Also ahead at 5, an avocado shortage finally stopped. The U.S. resumes inspections from western Mexico, and this is after assaults on inspectors shut down that important process. What's being done to get things moving once again for this popular fruit? And a 4-star basketball player in Camas gearing up for her junior year and looking beyond her high school years. Brooklyn Haywood sits down with our Brenna Green to talk about her future and the kind of example she wants to be for other young players. We've got those stories plus the day's headlines and weather, and of course that breaking news when you join me and Jeff next at 5.
Okay, see you then.
Yeah,
thanks, Liz.
I must have watched this video 30 times this weekend. So Taylor Swift had a surprise for fans who attended her Eras tour at London's Wembley Stadium last night. Her boyfriend and Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. He was dressed in a tuxedo with a tailcoat and a top hat, joining Swift on stage for a transitional sketch that leads into the song off her latest album, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. In fan videos, he is seen carrying Swift, urging her into a costume change.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
I think of it, I just kept watching, and I love how he looks at her. He just, you can tell he's
and
really
we were
into
talking about the people in the VIP box. Tom Cruise
Oh,
was there.
yes. Yeah, you told me his dance moves.
Tom Cruise is kind of doing this up there.
I feel like I've seen you do that same dance move.
He got the moves from me.
Oh,
That's where he
okay.
got
The OG right here.
Taylor Swift also received a royal welcome when she took her tour to London over the weekend.
Many of Swift's songs feature London landmarks, and the town expecting a huge economic boom with her sold-out shows. Lee Canary reports from London.
Taylor Swift just can't shake off London, and even the guards at Buckingham Palace are welcoming her back. On opening night, a few princes and a princess beamed in a backstage selfie with the main act and her boyfriend, NFL star Travis Kelce, who traded his uniform for a top hat, carrying Swift in a surprise appearance on stage. Around 700,000 people are expected to see the Eras tour in London, and they're bringing big business.
How much do you think you spent?
Probably like £400.
About 400. I mean, I've bought this stupid hat. I've got everything going on, so I can't get enough of it. Like, money is no object for this. Oh, my hat!
Barclays Bank predicts Swift's tour will lead to a bump of nearly $1.3 billion to the British economy.
We sell the hats, the bracelets, the glasses.
For £10, you can be a Taylor Swift fan too.
A Swiftie.
A Swiftie, forgive me.
Swifties are spending an average of $1,000 each. And for some Americans we found, that's a deal.
I was able to get our tickets for like $800 in their floor VIP seats. In Nashville, we paid $3,000 per person.
So you're saying it's your third time seeing the show? Fourth time. And London is the cheapest place to see it?
By far.
And it's not so long London, yet. Swift returns for 5 more shows in August. Lee Canary, CBS News, London.
Huh. Maybe I'll have to look into that.
Well, it doesn't matter what country she's in, everyone. International fame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and all the money they're getting, too, is amazing
Incredible.
from her. Okay, coming up, Ugly for the win. The Coos Bay puppy winning prizes for his face. I don't want to say unfortunate. I think he has a cute face.
He's kind of cute.
Yeah.
But kind of ugly at the same time. And whether you're a fan of red or white, there's a greener way to take in California's Napa Valley now. Hop around the wine train next.
If you're just joining us, we continue to follow this breaking news in Portland right now. Still a very smoky scene because of a fire that's happening east of the Broadway Bridge. It's right along I-5 there, and we've seen at least 2 cranes now fighting that fire. We can't see them right now because of all the smoke, and we're seeing black smoke that is flaring up again after it looked like they maybe had it under control.
Yeah, this broke out about, I would say, 40 minutes ago. Lots of flames, lots of black smoke. Then we saw the white smoke, but we continue to see flare-ups. And as Jenny was mentioning, they're attacking it with 2 aerial ladders, and we see streams of fire. But those firefighters are covered with the smoke right now. But there's 2 streams of water coming down from above right now. This is burning right next to I-5, that industrial area, that building in the foreground at the east end of the Broadway Bridge, that orange salmon-colored building. That's the Portland Public School Administration building. So it's burning between that building and the freeway. But now lots of smoke obscuring the view there. So it seems at times the fire's out and then it flares up. You start to see the black smoke again.
Right, it's taking up, gosh, most of the screen right now. Officials are saying that officially it's a commercial fire that's on North Thompson, and we looked that up, and it's one of those little side streets that's right next to the freeway down below. But it's causing a lot of backup there. I mean, you have to imagine that smoke is going across the interstate there, and then you've got the looky-loos too, because it's just massive at this point.
Yeah, we'll continue to monitor this situation. No reports yet of any injuries, but we don't know if there were chemicals involved in this fire. They're just calling it a commercial fire right now. So we continue to monitor the situation there. Well, California's Napa Valley is a region about 50 miles northwest of San Francisco, known for its beauty, ideal climate, and of course, for its great wineries.
Yeah, at last count, there are more than 400. Danya Bacchus takes us aboard an old ride powered in a new way to see it.
Welcome aboard. It's a new path for an old ride. Napa Valley's wine train has gone green.
It is right now the cleanest diesel engine in its class in the world.
For 35 years, the luxury train has been wining and dining passengers, chasing stunning views across vast vineyards. Now it's riding into the future with a newer, cleaner locomotive, one that uses less fuel, has near zero emissions, and follows stringent Environmental Protection Agency standards. Nathan Davis is the Napa Valley Wine Train's general manager.
If you were to literally count the amount of exhaust, it's 0 when it comes out. It's that clean.
That means goodbye to those iconic puffs of billowing black smoke.
It's nice driving this in the valley and not having a cloud of smoke.
Engineer Artemis Rogerson has lived in Napa for years.
People would complain sometimes about the train going by, so it's nice having this.
Another perk, a smoother ride.
Trains are usually, you know, like noisy and bumpy. Does it make a difference in terms of?
It does, yes, we believe it does, especially with the sound of the diesel motor when it's running. You just don't hear it.
Davis plans to turn his whole fleet green by 2025. For now, this engine is leading the way, renamed 1864 for the rail line's founding year.
Does this ever get old?
Never. It's fun every day. Beautiful territory. I got the coolest job in Napa.
The classic train now on a slightly different track.
It's a slow-moving industry, but when we move, we get momentum going and we just keep plowing ahead.
A symbol of vintage opulence. Now full speed ahead to a cleaner future. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Napa Valley.
Coming up, see the Oregon dog winning big for being considered ugly.
Another round of summer heat is approaching the Pacific Northwest, and this all comes as we prepare for cooler and wetter weather. So make sure you find a pool for at least Tuesday. We'll be discussing when that wet weather returns right here on KOIN 6.
Well, breaking news right now, a fire burning in North Portland.
That fire sending big black smoke into the air on North Thompson Street. That is right next to I-5 east of the Broadway Bridge. And that's where we find our Lisa Balick live. Lisa, what have you learned?
Yeah, right now I am on North Tillamook Street, right off Interstate. Let me step out of the way, give you some idea of what's happening here. We understand that the fire is in a commercial structure, a place where they manufacture Chinese foods for the area. Again, essentially a commercial kitchen. That's what we've been told by some of the folks that are here on scene. But as you can see, enormous amount of smoke as we were driving over here, working our way inside. There are at least 25 engine companies that are out here. They're hooked up to the hoses, putting water on here. As you can see, the firefighters on top of the structures nearby. I talked to a couple of folks very briefly as we were working our way in here who said that they had no idea what was going on. Folks nearby, they stepped outside because they heard all the fire engines and couldn't believe what they were seeing. This is, by the way, several blocks from the Portland Public School main building on North Dixon. Again, that is several blocks away, but it's just sort of the general area to the north of the PPS building. This is, again, a commercial area. It's not residential. It's strictly commercial in this area. But this is, let's say, not too far from Randall Children's Hospital as well. We can see that up on the hillside, but just to give you some idea, a big commercial fire underway right now. So far, we have not seen anybody evacuated from some of these nearby buildings. We've seen some people, nearby watching. The firefighters have not pushed them out, but they have a full court press on this fire at this hour. Back to you.
All right, Lisa, we will continue to check in with you on this because we're just continuing to see that smoke.
That is a stubborn fire. It looks like they have it under control. Then you see more black smoke, and this smoke seen for miles all around Portland, especially the downtown area. Also, an update to our breaking news, that plane emergency at the top of the hour. The Port of Portland says the pilot is okay. They say a small plane was bound for the Troutdale Airport when it landed in the Columbia River this afternoon. The pilot, the only person on board, we understand he's on shore. Our Ariel Yakabazi is hoping to get an interview with the pilot, so we'll bring you up to date. So that's a good end to that story right there. A small plane crash on the Columbia. The pilot is okay.
Yes, a busy news day, as you can tell. You've been monitoring that fire with your various cameras. I mean, that smoke is visible for miles and miles.
For miles. Everyone across the metro area can really have a good view of it. This is the view along the Vancouver waterfront. Thanks to the Hotel Indigo Kirkland Tower camera for giving us a bit of a distant view of the smoke that continues to fill our skies just on the east side of downtown Portland. But overall, our temperatures are behaving in the mid-70s right now. With bright blue sunny skies, we are going to hold on to those mid-70s as we work our way through the rest of the evening. But we really got to keep a close eye on those winds, especially when we're talking about that fire. Again, that's burning in Portland. Right now, a lot of that smoke likely traveling its way down towards the south and east as our wind speeds have been persistent here in the city, right around 12 miles per hour. Not expected to get any stronger than that as we work our way through the rest rest of this evening. Now, as far as our temperatures go, it's been a roller coaster ride for the month of June, falling back into the mid-60s before we entered into the summer season back on Thursday, June 20th. A high of 91, 92 for the following day on Friday, and even keeping those hot summer-like temperatures well into the weekend. And that's helping a lot of the grass pollen counts to really skyrocket up and down the Willamette Valley, along with a lot of the other weeds and flowers that continue to pollute our skies with the less than ideal pollen conditions. But overall, our temperatures are expected to continue to keep pollen counts high as we usher ourselves closer to the 90-degree mark on Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday starting to cool back into the low 70s, and that just so happens to be when we have our better chance for some wet weather to return. And that in turn will help to suppress some of that wildfire potential that we've started to see crop back up. But then we dry things out, warm things back up just in time for the weekend. So if you do have to spend any extended amount of time outside over the next 24 hours or so, stay hydrated, wear the light colored loose fitting clothing, and take frequent breaks indoors or in shady locations. But high pressure, the heat culprit, now on the move out toward the Four Corners states, the Central Plains, as a trough of low pressure approaches western Oregon and Washington, cooling us down, bringing back the chance of rain as early as Wednesday. That's going to take us then into Thursday as those temperatures fall below the average mark. And you'll notice we kind of stabilize the jet stream here and keep ourselves comfortable at least into the weekend. So here it is, all timed out with the Futurecast. Calm, quiet, clear skies for the rest of tonight. The start of the day tomorrow, plenty of sunshine to go around, a little bit of an easterly wind to start. That will also help to warm up our conditions before this next weak system pushes its way through. You'll notice a little bit of the green out towards southwest Washington, northwest Oregon, having the potential to bring just a few raindrops back to our area as early as Wednesday morning, maybe a hit and miss shower by the afternoon as that nice onshore flow keeps temperatures cooler than average. But more rain, more widespread rain, I should say, really returning to the I-5 corridor as we fill up the rain gauges to a couple of 1/100ths of an inch to maybe a 1/10 of an inch or even a 1/4 of an inch along the coast as we get our way into Thursday night. Now for tonight, it's calm, quiet, clear. Temperatures falling back into the mid-50s. Winds out of the north-northwest at about 5 to 10. Expecting to see those temperatures into the 60s along the coast if you are heading out that direction for tomorrow. And our 7-day forecast does show that we expect to see maybe a raindrop or two potential really ramp up with cooler than normal temperatures for Thursday, increasing the cloud coverage Friday as we get back up close to 80 degrees. For this time of year, 76 is that average, so 80s not a surprise when we start to see them creep in and out of our 7-day forecast, but it's good to see the rain potential help suppress that wildfire threat.
Definitely so. Yeah, we could use it.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Well, quite an honor for Oregon. A dog from our state has been named the ugliest dog in the world. Meet Wild Fang, a Coos Bay Pooch, who stole the show at this year's World's Ugliest Dog competition in Petaluma, California. The 8-year-old Pekingese contracted distemper as a puppy, causing his tongue to permanently stick out. Wild Fang has finished second place in the contest 3 times, but this year, he and his owner brought home the gold with a grand prize of $5,000. You're looking at the ugliest dog in the world, but Jenny and I think actually he's kind of cute.
I love the tongue.
I do like him.
I'm sold. Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know who's judging those things, but I think he's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Okay. The Oregon Zoo's elderly porcupine, Nolina, known for her morning walks, turns 20 years old today.
Doesn't look a day over 19, though. In the wild African Cape, porcupines rarely live past the age of 15, so this is an accomplishment. But the zoo says Nolina's brisk daily walks are helping keep her looking sharp. While she slowed down some over the years, her keepers say she still gets around pretty well and is doing amazing for her age.
And back to that breaking news right now in Portland, where we've been watching this massive commercial fire. It's on North Thompson, east of the Broadway Bridge, and it's along the I-5 stretch right there. And our Lisa Balick has been out there with our photographer getting these images for us. We're just continuing to see that smoke fill the air. Lisa said it was at a commercial building that manufactures Chinese foods.
Like a commercial kitchen.
Yeah, commercial kitchen, yes.
So we're going to have much more on this. Our crew's on the scene at the top of the 5. You'll want to keep it right here on KOIN 6.
Well, as Americans start heading to the beach this summer, we have a sobering reminder about dangerous conditions in the ocean.
Yeah, multiple people have died and more than 150 have needed rescuing just this week. Christian Benavides is going beyond the headlines.
Beach safety officials say a young man drowned Sunday after he was dragged into a dangerous rip current off the coast of Panama City Beach, Florida.
You can have a rip current develop anywhere at any time.
Sunday's incident is one of several deaths blamed on rip currents in recent days, including 3 Alabama men who were just hours into their vacation in the Florida Panhandle. One day earlier, Pennsylvania parents Brian Warder and Erica Wishart drowned off Hutchinson Island while vacationing with their 6 children. 2 of their teens tried to help, but couldn't.
The ocean, you think, is just a big swimming pool, especially people coming down from up north that don't understand currents and how dangerous the ocean can be.
Last week, many Florida beaches posted red flags indicating dangerous swimming and surfing conditions.
For the drownings that we've had in 2024, all of these were on single red flag days, high rip current hazard.
Beach safety director for Panama City Beach, Daryl Pohl, says if you're caught in a rip current, stay calm.
If you're a good swimmer, swim parallel to shore. But if you're not a very good, confident swimmer and all you can do is float, just float and wait for help.
Paul says all of those drownings that have happened here have happened in areas that are unguarded, meaning there is no lifeguard. The U.S. Life-Saving Association estimates that it is extremely rare to drown when there is a lifeguard present. Parts of Panama City Beach have 2 red flags showing, meaning no one is allowed in the beach due to the riptides. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Panama City Beach, Florida.
All right, that does it for us. I will see you back here tomorrow. But now here's Jeff and Liz with KOIN 6 News at 5.